Welcome everyone to week number 2 of the junior division of Runeterra Academy Season 2. I am Tiger, joined today by Miles David. We got an exciting one between BBC and CB Rush.
Yeah, welcome back, Tiger. I missed you last week. I was doing PvPing in your place last time with PBS, I believe. So, welcome back. Good to have you back. And yeah, this should be an interesting match between these two teams. I mean, CB Rush, they're CB Rush, and this time I think they should have a decent challenge here against who do you have again? Wait,
BBC.
yeah, there we go, BBC. Now BBC they won last. They won the last junior division completely convincingly. But now their jungler is on the opposing side of the rift. So let's see how they do.
Yeah, it should be a pretty exciting matchup here between Acid and Kai and Win. Both pretty strong junglers in carry position, so hopefully we'll see some assassins in the jungle on both sides today.
I feel
Uh,
I feel like CBR Acid will get banned out again. No one wants to let out his Kha'Zix. Then there's still Frosty with his mid lane picks. The roaming mid laners, they can be good too. So those are things to definitely watch out for.
yeah, I think that pretty much all the time we expect for Acid to get banned out, but I think that there's enough strong junglers right now. We could see any number of picks, so I don't think that you get pigeonholed into a certain type of pick in the jungle right now based on. But it could be less effective if bans are in the right. But I'm
Yeah.
looking at these two teams. Both were 2-0 in week number 1. So I think that with both of these teams being 1-0 to start with, whoever wins this will be in good position to be seed for the entire season.
Yep, definitely. I mean, you definitely don't want to be losing your match here on just week 2. So would like to see it. I'm just having a bit of problem getting into the drafts, but
Yeah,
have they started yet, Tiger?
yeah. The draft has not started yet. Uh,
Oh,
if we can
okay,
get
I'm
you
just
in,
I'm just gonna log in using my phone. Screw it.
yeah. Hopefully,
uh,
we'll get that started for you soon. But the two teams here. Uh, I think that I'm expecting a lot of fighting. Oh, the draft has just begun. We're getting word, so hope I'll be able to see that. But whatever the case, I'm expecting a lot of fighting between these two. That whenever you've got strong teams, they want to play aggressively, and the aggressive style tends to lead towards fighting. So see, the two teams are
okay,
pick
I got it.
fights
I got it.
that they know that they can, or if they're going to feel aggressive enough to just go for any fight that they look like they can.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Big BBC's playstyle yet. Because they have a new jungler, they can't really play the old style where they just give Acid all the resources. But I'm very familiar with the way CB Rush likes to play. They will put Frosty in a roaming mid, will support Acid as he tries to go for invade. So I'm expecting CB Rush to pull off the same strat. It's brought them a lot of success before, and I don't expect them to abandon it right now, especially in this league. So Kha'Zix off the table, definitely expected. That pick is basically perma-banned against Acid. He's so good on it. Meanwhile, on the other side, looks like CB Rush banning away the Trundle, more of a meta pick, and Mordekaiser I've seen being Mordekaiser is on the rise in the current meta as well.
Yeah, I think that Mordekaiser always is strong, especially if you want to go with something like an AD mid laner. I think that right now still playable to have two marksmen on the team. Saw a lot of that last season between
Maybe
the
we'll
two.
see Akshan.
Yeah, could
Maybe.
be Akshan. I think that Akshan in a decent spot right now. I don't think that necessarily is a pick ban type champion, but
Yeah.
anyone who feels comfortable playing Akshan, I think, has a lot of utility to be able to play in competitive. So I think that Akshan would definitely be something that would be fun to watch and see where he's at right now.
Yep, definitely. And we are taking time a bit in the draft, and CB Rush do have first pick. I wonder what they'll decide to go with. I assume they're gonna go picking something for their jungler. Now with Xin Zhao and Kha'Zix gone, I've seen Acid default to the Kane, so I wonder if they're gonna be picking this one up. No, instead they're gonna be going for a Tristana first pick. So trying to get that hyper carry and all in potential for Evil Zara. And Evil Zara has performed really well with Tristana in the past, so interesting to see. It's rather it's a decent first pick for them, works to their strengths, and we'll see what BBC will respond with.
Yeah, I think Tristana is still definitely a potential flex pick, but I would guess most likely going into the ADC position. Now it's going to be Zaya as the answer. Zaya in a much better position now. I think she has been throughout most of this season. Got buffs, and the Zaya Rakan duo is definitely going to be one that's strong throughout the game. It will be interesting to see how we're getting the Rakan piloted by thereby also. You got some choices. You can try to go for a lane dominant sort of style, but Rakan's also capable of getting out and roaming around the map. I think
Yeah.
a Pantheon. I was gonna say Leona's
Whoa.
pretty classic counter pick to Rakan, but if it's like a Pantheon support, I think you've still got the same aspect of as able to point and click hard CC him when he tries to win, avoid him being able to get the knock up with the grand entrance and then try to before he can get back out. But Pantheon's even a little bit more aggressive because you're doing some of the damage on your own as support. So we'll see if that means that CV Rush is going to play sort of a bot
Ooh.
side sort of style and try to get some kills in the early.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if you want all in, Tristana and Pantheon, here you go too, right? The thing is, well, Saya once she has her ultimate, it'll be very easier for her to stay by herself in lane, easily able to dodge out any ganks that happen to go her way. And as you said, I kind of think that because of these picks, it will thereby will be trying to roam more across the map, trying to match what Frosty can do to stop him from just running random all over the map on this Talia, because we've seen him do it time and time again. Frosty just get he decides not to CS by the mid game. He's stuck at like 115, but he gets so many kills off his roams.
Yeah, always good to have a mid laner who to get out of and help the side lanes out, especially when you pick aggressively bots like. So I'm wondering what the jungle that goes with this is going to be, because it feels like it's the sort of game where you'd want to play more of an engaged tank type jungler, but that's not the
Nah, this is not Acid. Acid is not the type to do that.
Yeah, but the question then becomes, what is he going to pick that's going to fit the style that you want with the
I will
elite,
bet Kane.
but also be able to do the things that you're expecting to see when asked.
Jagger, I'm gonna bet it's Kane.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that. I think that's a possibility. Interesting
Ooh,
that they
Darvin.
picked out the Nocturne. I kind of felt like the Nocturne and Talia kind of go together well. The Jarvan picked up here for BBC. I think that should provide some strong early ganking potential. I want them to a strong top laner to go with the Jarvan, because right now Syndra's kind of all right. I mean, against the Talia, I could see some ganks going to the mid lane, and Rakan's got a little bit of the setup, and especially once level 6 comes, the bot lane has enough setup to provide for a Jarvan ganking the bot side, but a top laner that provide gank setup will be good here for BC. Viego comes in for CV Rush.
Yeah, Viego. I'm assuming this is gonna be jungle because lane Viego is very ass right now, so this will probably be going into Acid's hands most likely, and well, it'll be a blind pick for the side of Rutledge, and he will go with his classic Volibear in the top lane. So very strong ganking potential there in the top lane, because Volibear can give you a lot of setup, right? You can just charge the enemy top laner, then Viego can go W, hit you with the W stun as well, and then just kill you. They're just CC'd to death outright. So BBC will have to find a top laner that can not only fight against the Volibear but can also survive the ganks against the Viego. And well, I'm assuming that Keen Nunyan. I'm assuming. Hopefully, I pronounced that right, guys. Apologize if I butchered the name. Oh, it looks like it will be set. So very self-sustaining top laner that you can kind of leave alone if needed, but you can also go for a gank there with the Jarvan. But I'm really assuming that Jarvan's job will be to try and take control of Talia, make sure that Frosty doesn't get out of control in lane and dominate that with the Syndra.
Yeah, that could be the case here, and I think that, as you say, Set's pretty self-sustaining, but also you can set up ganks pretty well with Set, and it's kind of in the name. So we'll see which side of the map that BBC is going to play towards here. I think that definitely I could see either side, and having the threat is a sort of macro play where you never really know where the jungler's going to start. So it's going to take vision from the side of CV Rush to understand what it is that BBC is trying to do in this early game. Because when you look at a team comp like this, actually both sides kind of have this situation where it's kind of an early game team comp all around with a mid laner that kind of decently. The difference being that CB Rush doesn't have a jungler that prefers to gank as much. You kind of want a hard farm on
Mm,
Viego until you get
yeah.
6 and you can start to get resets. But I think that both of them could play through either side lane pretty easily, and then you want to hand that lead off to the mid laner once you
I,
get to the mid.
I don't know if Syndra will want to play side by herself, Tiger. She doesn't really have any escape. The only way she'll be able to get out is with her E. That is the thing though. If Eagle Bender is able is able to side lane, it will be the point where Eagle is able to side lane. I think that's a very dangerous spot for CB Rush because that means that, well, the enemy team is so far ahead that Syndra can afford to risk her life in a side lane because she can easily get dove.
Yeah,
Sky of the week there. That's what I remember.
that is true. I think that it should be a pretty exciting game here, though. When we've got these early game sort of setups, that means that there should be a lot of fighting. I mean, if the teams don't want to take any risks, then I'm guessing the other can just run the most. That's the sort of team comp that each team has. So I'm expecting the teams to be taking risks, and hopefully they'll be trying to punish each other on their risk as well. So we'll see if it ends up being the case that there's a lot of big numbers fights with 3v3s or 4v4s in the early game, or if it's going to be more the case where it ends up being 2v1s on one side of the map and then one team trying to get compensation on the other side of the map. We'll see which way that the team play, but I think
Yeah.
either way it should be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. We are going into Champion Select, guys. So we're just waiting for the teams to start picking. Fortunately, there's no way to really shortcut the bans. And well, talking about these team comps and what they want to do, we can just talk about that. CB Rush, they definitely want to get things going in the early game, especially on bot side with the Pantheon Kasana pick. If they can get some early kills there, it would be fantastic. If not, well, Pantheon will be forced to roam along with Talia and Viego, and the three-man death squad could be detrimental to what BBC want to do. Jarvan can't really do anything by himself against those two. He's gonna have to uh, hope his team is able to back him up in the case that the support mid and jungle come try to go and play some deep warps or try to steal some jungle camps from him. Otherwise, he's just gonna get put farther and farther behind. On the side of BBC though, they also kind of want to be able to do well in the early game because Syndra, although she scales extremely well, she's still she's still kind of vulnerable in the mid game and sort of that early late game that we have when the Baron starts spawning and becomes starting a major objective that needs to be contested. In the super late game, sure, she can start basically one shotting anyone on the side of CB Rush, but it's gonna be very hard unless they find some really good skirmishes that will benefit this Syndra. So I'm expecting I'm expecting a camp in mid lane, honestly. I want to see the Syndra get ahead of Frosty. If they can do that, they will really limit what CB Rush can do all around the map.
Yeah, it always starts in the mid lane when you've got these roaming laners. If the mid laner can't get out of the lane, then that means that you're limiting what it is to do.
Yeah,
And we're going to see Frosty wanting to just push and roam 6. But I think that what we could see with the camp that Frost be under power, and Kindwin and Ego Bender be trying to force Frosty to stay there. And if they do that, then that will be a good like.
Yeah, pretty much. You want to extend the laning phase against Frosty for as long as possible. Keep him in the lane. Make sure he does not roam to the side lanes, or just start snowballing those parts. Especially since there's so much good setup for him, right? There's a Pantheon with point and click. There's Volibear with also a point and click. So if he manages to get over to the side lane using his ultimate or maybe as a teleport or something, it's so easy for Frosty to use the Talia to use his seismic shove in order to bring back the opponent on right, shoot his opponent straight into his team and then just kill them. And CBR Acid should get extremely fed off that, or he should at least have basically his own time trying to farm in the enemy jungler. It's kind of weird, Tiger. Frosty kind of acts like the secondary jungler, He's the
Yeah,
one basically doing all the ganking, while CBR Acid is actually counter jungling and just farming up to be a monster when it comes to the mid. Be a monster when it comes to those late game team fights.
yeah. I do think that one interesting point is that if the top lane matchup was going in favor of Kenrick, then that kind of limits what Frosty can do on the top side of the map, because
Mm.
that is a champion that just takes 2v1s and wins them. That's something that we've seen throughout last season, that we've just seen consistently throughout any sort of competitive situations with League of Legends. Set just wins 2v1s if he's ahead. So if Kenrick starts to get a little bit of bleed in the top side, that's another way that you limit the effect in the mid lane, because that stops one of the two sides that he could be roaming.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll be looking forward to seeing that if Kendrick's able to pull it off. I mean, don't doubt the champion. He was one of the best top laners, of course, in the league last time. We'll see if he can do it again this time against Rutledge, who is now in his native top lane. Rutledge was playing for Omega Titans last season in the mid lane, but now, well, he's back. He has CBR Acid with him. Let's see what he can do.
All right, we'll go into a short intermission, and on the other side, we'll see you for game number 1. Welcome back, everyone. We're on to the Rift. We've got CB Rush on the blue side and BC on the red side. We're getting out onto the map. We'll see if anyone's going to have some early shenanigans. But, Miles, what do you think about this game? Who do you think's going to win?
That's an interesting question. I think the biggest question for me is the new jungler Kai and Yungen, just to see what he can do. And woo, smart stuff from Kai. Immediately scouts out, does not face check, but they're just gonna go
Ooh,
in on him.
good flash from Angel
Oh, he's
and
dead.
flash from Kai. He's going to be walking away. Ignite taking down Acid, going to try to find him. Recall being channeled, but Acid has sniffed him out. Now Rutledge walking forward. Acid with the stun. Kindwin in trouble, going to go down. First blood going over to Acid. Kenrick tried to keep him alive with the face breaker, but it just was not enough. Now the wraparound coming from the bot side. We've got thereby also showing
Lazarus
up
here.
Thunder, but Frosty's starting to put in the rocks.
I gotta
Angel
go
going
in.
to go down as he gets knocked up with the grand entrance. Egro Bender picking one up, thereby also trying to get out alive. Now it's going to be the turnaround. Acid looking for Kenrick. Kenrick with a 3-man face breaker. Rutledge going to go down already. It's a chaos fest early on in this one. 2 kills going over to BBC, 1 going back the way of CB Rush.
And there's a sad face from Evil Zero because unfortunately for the side of CB Rush, they were just caught out for too long. But wait, there's more. Acid's just gonna go again.
Yeah, Kai
Oh, here
with
comes
the
the
early death.
teleport.
Teleport coming in behind. It's going to be Rutledge arriving. Now Egro Bender with the roam going to be enough to keep Kind alive, but Acid going to successfully steal the first camp on the enemy red buff.
Go for gang. He's spinning down mid lane. Eagle Bender is in a bit of trouble.
The action does not stop. Egro Bender is wise to it and will be able to get out alive, but the action keeps
Acid
on
spinning,
going.
going for an
Acid's
invade.
pushing the pace, looking maybe to try to find Kindwin again.
We gotta keep going.
It's about even on the early game, both level 2. We'll see if a fight going to break out. It looks like Acid just wants to steal this Gromp and trying to get as much of a camp advantage as possible. And with Angel having walked up, it looks like he should be able to steal away a second camp. The question's where will Kai and Win go to make up these camps? He's going to be two camps down unless he gets an invade off or is able to double crab. And maybe he's going to go for ganks, but I don't know what the situation is going to be. Acid may be in a very good position for himself here in the early game.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Acid. As Viego, he's pretty much got exactly what he wanted out of this early game. He didn't die. He got a kill, and that's what you want when you're if your main star player is ahead, a CB rush. That's exactly what you want to do, and it was only possible because of the priority they were able to get. And well, it was a bit of an ambitious play there on that top side because the teammate could be waiting, but it really paid off for his side CB rush to keep going aggressive, to keep going for those picks. And now, well, it looks like double scuttle is not going to be an issue because, well, priority in the bot side, it's Evil Zera on the Tristana. She can get the push on super easily.
Yeah, and it looks like Acid will once again be able to take another camp that's in a neutral position. Now, I do think that it's worth mentioning that Ego Bender got himself in a very good early position as well with the 1-0 and
Yeah.
1 on the early trade. Already was able to pick up a tier on the first base before even the first wave came in. So that should be a position where we can keep track of how Ego Bender is doing, and that might be enough to tell us what the situation is going to look like for the side of BBC. I think with that 500 gold lead, they should still be feeling in pretty good position. Kenrick starting to open up a CS advantage, as well as Corsic. So just
Yeah.
good natural advantages from the side of BBC.
Yeah, but the problem isn't like the lane advantage going because it doesn't really matter if your set is too far ahead because he's set. He's not going to be the one to really hard carry you in the team fights. He can set things up, but he won't be the damage dealer. Meanwhile, ooh, wait,
Corsic with a big root on the
what?
blade collar, able to take out Evil Zara. No escape coming through. Flash still up, so that's a hard CC all the way to death. And that was about 7 feathers coming back through. Corsic with the good geometry, able to pick up the kill in the 2v2.
All right, I was gonna say it doesn't matter the lanes getting ahead, the top lane getting ahead because Viego is so far ahead of the enemy jungler right now when it comes to camp, when it comes to resources. But in the bot lane, Corsic getting the kill there is so vital, especially against the Tristana. And well, he has the CS lead right now. Tristana didn't use his flash, had to give up his life. And Fed Saya is not something you really want to deal with. Eagle Bender's in a lot of trouble though.
Yeah, good roam from Angel, and now it's going to be Acid showing up as
Yeah,
well. Didn't even need to be there. Frosty picking up the kill. Meanwhile, the Drake is being
that's a lot of
focused down,
damage.
though. We'll see if Acid can get there in time. Looks like Kindwin may be able to smite this one down just in time.
Wait,
Corsic
Evil
now
Zara?
in trouble. It looks like a 3v3 about to break out. Evils are going to rocket jump away, thereby also going
Oh,
to have the explosive shot land on him. But Kindwin able to flag and drag over. Escape comes through for the side of BBC.
yep, they were able to just barely make it out of there and get the dragon for themselves. Good stuff from BBC. I like how the teams are basically just countering each other again and again when it comes to cross map plays. One person makes a move and the other person makes the logical next step. So some pretty good League of Legends are being played right now between these two teams that seem to know exactly where their strengths lie. Right now, it was good for BBC to really find that opportunity in order to get themselves a bit of a lead. Otherwise, it could have been a disaster for them. This bot lane is going to get pushed in again and again. So it might be wise for Nguyen to change his plan a bit. Instead of going top lane, just go bot lane. Just keep getting Corsic ahead again and again because this Aya can be an absolute monster when it comes to those big team fights.
Yeah, and I think that on the other side, CB Rush's bot lane is going to have to figure out how to play a little bit more effectively here right now.
Oh,
Looking for an engage. Andrew going for that one. Not going to quite find enough damage to kill thereby also, but dropping him pretty low. Going to force him to back off. And as I say that they need to look to play more effectively, taking that big trade is definitely a good step in the right direction. I think that they may be looking at trying to take a plate here on this recall.
So if that is
Redstone
the
stuff.
case, they'll be very close to evening it back up. Ego Bender could be in trouble here. Now it's a
Oh,
three
stun, he
man
said.
gank, and the flip comes through. It's not the volley flip. That's on the old volley. That's just a seismic shove. But whatever the case, there's no escape for
Looked like
Ego
it though.
Bender, not even with the flash. So that means another kill coming through in the mid lane for the side of CB Rush.
Yeah, meanwhile, Corsic and thereby were forced to have a very bad back, and as a result, Evil Zera get back into it with all those plates going onto the Shrine who can really, really force out all those starts. Wait, they're going in further? They're
Yeah,
surrounded immediately, Frosty flashes.
yeah, it looks like Kindwin may be on the wrong side of the
Oh,
map. Also, it's a slippery team. It's a 4v4 starting to break out. There's the stun coming through. Now it's going to be a little bit of a disengage coming through from the side of CB Rush.
this
It
is
looks
level
like
6.
thereby also still wants it, but not able to have the ult available just yet. Meanwhile, on the top side, they want to fight each other a little bit too. We'll see how deep
Uh,
this trade goes. Kenrick could be in a good position here if the Haymaker lands only able
wait,
to
this is
land
going
on
in.
the side. Here comes the Stormbringer. Flash going to be forced for Kenrick. Not going to be able to find the kills, but it is going to be a summoner spell for the ultimate.
Despite getting behind, Rutledge is just outplaying. Wait, gank?
Thereby
Oh
also
no.
going to be in trouble here. CC'd all the way to death. Now Corsair trying to turn this one around. Maybe Kindwin waiting in the wings. Meanwhile, topside Rutledge could be in trouble. Frosty going to show up and equalize the fight. The force of will dropping Rutledge about 200 HP. Corsic could be dove here, but
Ooh.
Kindwin's on the over the wall. Here
Oh!
goes for the Cataclysm onto two. Is burned by both, and the Buster shot from Evil Zara going to push him away. But Corsic is flashed forward. Evil Zara forced to flash back, so that's 3 flashes on the attempted dive, but no kills coming through.
And that's a lot of resources wasted on both sides. Well, Kai still has his flash at least, and thereby he might be in
Ooh,
a bit of trouble. He has to be a bit careful.
yeah, sitting on that control ward, Acid trying to find some trouble, but might have been a bridge too far, so maybe wisely backing off here now. Just get
Yeah.
back to the camps for the moment.
Now here's the problem, Tiger. Now, as you can see on the timer, the dragon's up in 1 minute, and the ADC, the support, does not have flash. So that's a very risky endeavor if you choose to go for a fight there. Now, on the other hand, there is also no flash on the side of Evil Zera, but do you really want to risk it because of the lead that Corsic has for himself right now? If he dies, he's basically throwing away his tempo, and Evil Zera will get farther and farther ahead. Wait!
Roams from both supports, thereby also going in the mid lane. Ego Bender able to land a good combo onto Acid, chunks him to half. Now Kind Wind showing up in the mid lane as well, going to force back the enemy team. But
Oh
meanwhile,
no.
top good showstopper from Kenrick puts him in the right direction, but will he be able to survive long enough? Haymaker gives
I
him the
don't think
shield, but
so.
the Ignite is taking down. He's got no flash, and Rutledge able to finish off the kill in the top lane. Good roam from Angel.
What a great roam. Now we forgot about the roam potential coming in from the Pantheon. I think that was a lane gang from him too. I don't think he uses ultimate there. He still has his
Yeah,
ultimate. He's about to get it right now, and he could be there in just in time to help out for the next dragon if they don't decide to give this one up. But Viego is coming up soon, so I think they're gonna be fighting for this. Ultimate
yeah.
is not yet there for Frosty. And the teleport's being used in the top lane.
Yeah, but 4 man and the Drake for the side of
Oh, they go for
BBC.
it.
Here comes the Grand Starfall. The Drake is already down, but Angel wants to start the
Oh,
fight. He's CC'd, and Corsic finishes him off. Big Cataclysm onto two. That's going to be a second kill going over to BBC. Frosty now going to be the next man in trouble. Going to be a Dark Sphere landing. Will thereby also be able to follow him up. There's the grand entrance, and Frosty is going to be exiting now. That's 3-0, and the Drake going over to the side of BBC.
what a great fight coming from the side of BBC, and on the side of CB Rush, they kind of entered that fight one by one there. Instead of being coordinated as a unit, Andro started going in, then Acid, and they both ended up giving their life for basically nothing. As you said, it was a 3-0. In the end, Frosty also died as well. So really good stuff coming from BBC. The gold is still even, of course, but it's not about that. It's a tempo, right? You just force your enemy back, force them to lose a lot of minions as well. So it's a gold and experience that are gonna be favoring the side of BBC at the moment.
Yeah, and with that said, I think that it's important to point out that we've got a pretty even state in all of the lanes right now. I mean, advantage over to Corsic by a small margin in the bot lane, but elsewhere it's pretty even. Maybe Rutledge with a bit of an advantage as well. But all around the map, the gold should be pretty even at the current time. Rutledge may be looking for
Oh, they're
Kenrick
just going
here.
in.
Roam from Frosty. And now Kenrick going to be able to get away with the showstopper, and everyone's here. It's 4-man on the top side. Good use of the scat of the week, going to be pushing back the enemy team. 1 kill already going over to Kindwin. Rutledge going to be in trouble here as well,
Wait,
dropping
what?
around 100 HP, going to get the shield, but not going to have enough damage to finish off the kill. Thereby also picks up one as well. That's 2 kills going over to BBC as they protect their top laner.
I think there's a bit of a spectate bug there. I'm not sure where Rutledge decided to flash. It looked like from my end that he flashed in place, which should be very
Uh,
bad.
I don't think that was a bug. I think that's actually what he did.
Oh
I didn't
no,
see it. I did not see it, but I think that that must be what happened because his flash went on cooldown, but I never saw him go
it,
anywhere with it.
it might just end up being a spectator bug, but they are able to get placed onto the side of Evil Zero, so still things not too bad in the bot lane, even though look at the kill lead on the side of the side. He's gonna be extremely strong. This Jarvan is gonna be going for the bruiser build. Gore Drinker for this Jarvan gonna be very powerful in this mid game fights and gonna be lasting a long time. You can't just burst down Kai because he can survive for such a long time. But Rift Herald should be going down in favor of CB Rush, but Syndra's right here along with Rakan.
Yeah,
Thereby,
Eagle
he's just been all over the map.
walking out. Acid could be in trouble here. Just gonna try to walk it back. Angel is in the area, so this could be dangerous for either side because they don't know how many people that they're dealing with. Good ward over the wall is going to allow CB Rush to stay on it for
They're
the
fighting.
moment. I think that they
They're
need to get
fighting.
out of this one. We'll see if thereby also is going to find the engage. Has the quickness available. This is a dangerous situation for CB Rush. They
Oh
need to get
no,
out
the
of here.
ward.
Good stun coming through from Ego Bender, but no follow up available. The scatter the weak going through it as the lone damage for the moment. But the Rift Herald will reset, so that should just about do it for that fight. Both sides are going to back off for the moment. And the recall going to be able to come through there, so it shouldn't be anyone getting killed just yet.
That was good for both sides. It's good that CBR didn't decide to take that fight because they would have been out DPS easily. Because the fact is, Corsic was already on his way and he had this Kraken Slayer completed. Meanwhile, Tristana only had components. So if ever a fight did break out, it would have definitely just been in BBC's favor. They did force off CB Rush from the Dragon. Oh no, wait, Ken Yugen, he got caught!
Kindwin
Oh
just
no.
going to get shut down, not able to escape, no flags to which to drag. And that means that the shutdown going over, and that will even up the gold a little bit. But meanwhile, it's just been Corsic in the bot lane farming up, able to take down the first tower. So a little bit of gold going each way.
Yeah, there we go. I guess Andrel is noting that Grave did get buffed, so possibly the fact that support Mantian is strong, pretty much strong again, and is able to clear vision super easily plays a factor in the pick. It's been a pretty decent so far. I wouldn't say game breaking, but definitely had its moments at the moment. Or had its moments rather, and looks like they're gonna gear up for an ambush here. Corsic and Ken Yugen. They have no idea.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
they go
it's
for it.
and this could be trouble. Kindwin going down, but what will the rest of the fight look like? Acid going to get knocked up. The quickness going through there. Also going to be able to find everybody, and Acid has been taken down. It's a 1-for-1. Both junglers have fallen. Now 4v4 left on the map, thereby also looking to continue. Kenrick walking forward. The Drake has spawned. It's an Infernal. This is the third of the game if it's picked up by BBC. So posturing from both sides, trying to stay in the area, making sure that neither side going to take it just yet. Frosty looking like he wants to go for a seismic shove, but not going to be able to find anything yet. First wall is still available to try break up a fight. But there's no mid laner in the area for the side of BBC. Ego Bender went to pick up the wave. Now Rutledge trying to engage. It's going to be a haymaker on the 3. Kendrick with a flash forward into the stun, and thereby also going to find the grand entrance. Kindwin rationing off one member to the side. It's a 3-for-1 so far, and onto the Drake goes to the side of BBC. They're looking to pick this one up. Acid looks like he will be able to just give this one up, and that means that BBC have taken a pretty commanding lead as they're going to be on sole point here, and they also have about 2,500 gold to their advantage.
And they decided to go on to Kenrick, but he was just not the right target. The set can absorb so much punishment, especially with the Gore Drinker. And well, even though both junglers were not there, but Kai Yugen was pretty much the first one onto the field. He had 5 seconds over CBR Acid. Oh wait, they're just splashing for it. Eagle
Acid.
Banner's in trouble.
Oh, great scare of the week, but it's going to be Angel
Oh,
showing up with the flash. I'm going to be able to finish off the shutdown as Acid will be in the area. Looking to continue on to thereby also as the
should be able to get
turret
this.
about to fall as well. Not going to be anything like a kill, but a tower taken down in the mid lane on top of the pick going over to CB Rush.
And that's huge. They're able to get the shutdown onto their assassin, basically, because that's what Pantheon is doing right now. He can snowball. If you can delete the squishies onto the backline, that's definitely the key for CBR to go in. They're going again for the Rift Herald. Meanwhile, here in the bot lane, Lozera, very close thereby.
Oh, thereby also using a defensive quickness that might signal the disengage for the side of
Yeah, they're giving up.
BBC here. They will be giving up the Rift Herald now. It's just a question of what can CB Rush do with the Rift Herald.
Yeah, it is a big question, right? The Dragon isn't going to be up for a few more minutes, and well, they could decide to drop a top lane just to get more map control for themselves. Rutledge has to be very careful. This is a 2v1.
Yeah,
You know,
kind of in
yeah,
the area, but able to get out with taking down that control ward, so that always feels good.
and what the game BBC is playing right now, at least they're able to get the control for themselves. They didn't allow Frosty to affect the entire map completely, which what allows CB Rush to be extremely dominant all across the map and allows them to snowball games super quickly. They just cut into CB Rush's plans and were able to immediately counter push. This Syndra pick is extremely good at just deleting people right off the bat. And when it comes to a 5v5, it's very hard. It's a lot harder for them to execute. Wait.
Henrik may be in trouble here. Going to be able to find the Haymaker.
Oh!
Goes for the Showstopper under the tower. Will he be able to survive long enough? The home wreck of the tower will keep Acid alive. But now on the other side of the map, double kill coming through for Egro Vendor. So trades going around. It's 2-for-1 across the map in favor of BBC. But the pick goes in favor of Acid in the top lane.
This Syndra is absolutely scary right now. Eagle Bender is just super strong. Plated with the Ludens, the healing is not going to be a good factor for the side of CBR Acid, who has healing built into his kit, along with some regen on the side of Volley Bear. So the Oblivion Horn going to do a lot of harm to them. Meanwhile, Percy can just basically free hit from the backline using her range on the Saya. So everything, the counter punch really went well for the side of BBC, getting those 2 kills there in the enemy jungler. Saya has to be a bit careful. Okay, he flashes out
Oh.
immediately.
Good from Evil Zara to get that blast cone and force the flash out from Kain. But what I wanted to talk about was that I was very surprised that Acid didn't drop the Rift Herald on the back end of the pick in the top lane, because that would have guaranteed the tower, I believe, and they probably would have been able to get a second charge. Now we'll have to see if they're able to find a more effective use later on, but it's hard
I
to
think
imagine what would be a more
I
effective
think
use
the
than that.
plan is I think the plan is to have pressure on one of the lanes with the Rift Herald drop in order to secure themselves onto dragons. Because they need to buy themselves a bit more time, right? Because it is sole point. If they have to fight a straight up 5v5 while the enemy team isn't distracted by something else happening across the map, I think it might be doomed for them. So they need to save it. Need to save that strat right now. Possibly put it in the mid lane or in the bot lane before going for the dragon themselves.
Yeah, right now I'd say that with 1 minute left before the next Drake, if you're the side of CB Rush, what you need to do is find picks. Like you say, if they take a straight up 5v5, first of all, they're behind gold, but second, they're up against a Set, a Jarvan, and a Rakan, which is pretty solid as far as engages go. This is a team comp that you don't want a 5v5 into. But with the pick potential, that may be what you want to see from CB Rush. But I don't think that BBC wants to give it to him, so it might be just the group up continuing here. Rutledge is on the recall as the Drake spawning now in about 20 seconds. We'll see if he's able to just walk here in time. I don't think that they want him to teleport in, so it looks like they just have him push the wave. He
Ooh.
is teleporting into mid lane, so we'll see if a fight going to break out here. Thereby also looking like he wants to walk forward. As you said, the Rift Herald going to be dropped mid, so that's going to be the threat. Ego Bender looking to potentially drop a Scatter the Weak, but doesn't find anything yet. Now it's going to be CB Rutledge walking in on the front side, and
Oh,
here
they're
comes
going.
the Grand Starfall. This is the engage, but a
Oh,
good face breaker going to drop Adriel. Now it's going to be a double kill going over to the side of BBC, and now 3 for 0, and the Buster shot not able to finish anything. It's 4 for 0. The Drake will as well. BBC taking firm command of this game, and they will go straight to Baron.
I think it's all over now for the side of CB Rush. They weren't able to get the distraction they need. They weren't able to isolate the skirmishes. Instead, it was just a straight up 5v5. It was a desperate play from them to try and get back into the game. Fortunately, it did not work out, and I think BBC, they're just tightening the noose on this one. This game should basically go in their favor. I think they can just run it down mid lane. They're just so strong as a 5-man death ball unit that they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah. Corsic in firm position on the 4-0 and 9 Zaya here, and has all the peel in the world. This is the best time to be an ADC, is when you're fed. You've been allowed to farm up into a point where you've got 2.5 items, and you've got 3 members of your team that are able to peel you in addition to self peel. Uh, you could even argue that every member of the team has something that they can use to peel for Corsic right now. So
Mhm.
Corsic is having a great time this game. I feel confident.
Yeah, this is the fun part of being an ADC. I definitely agree with that one. It's not as fun if right now you're an evil Zarasu doesn't have the damage to be able to carry fights on his own. He needs a lot more time or to get fed at Tristana, but I don't think BBC are gonna give him that time to scale up. Meanwhile, Corsac almost at 3 items. He has he's basically half an item ahead of his opponent ADC right now, and that's just so much value when it comes to damage. Meanwhile, here in the top lane,
Well, Kendrick
they're
could
gonna go
be
for
in
it. They're just
trouble
going
here.
for
The
him.
team collapsed on by 4. Rutledge going to start off the fight. Showstopper coming through from Kendrick, but the seismic shove lands and Acid picks up the kill. Pick off going in favor of CB Rush.
That's a really huge pick. That means that while the side of CBR, they're able to stall out. They're able to get something back. And Indril has to be
Infernal
very
Soul.
careful.
Infernal Soul doing so much damage, thereby also looking
They're
to
just going
continue
in.
the quickness going in. Angel forced to flash. Corsic going to drop some feathers, but the flash is going to be all that's given. Now Kindwin looking for a tower here in the mid lane, but going to back off for the moment as Egro Bender shoving bot. All lanes under siege with this Baron buff at the moment.
Yeah, but well, they don't have a pick. Syndra might not be able to get the tower down there, so no, she is able to at least. So that is one positive thing. But you definitely want to be doing more with this Baron if you are on the side of BBC. Because the longer you wait, the longer you wait when it comes to the picks. Wait, Rutledge right here, nearby.
Everybody else could be in trouble, able to dodge out the seismic shove using the grand exit. Now Kenrick going to teleport in. Rutledge could be in some trouble here. Goes unstoppable with the Stormbringer, but gets charmed up by the quickness.
Oh,
Going on to 3 members and the Cataclysm over the wall. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far, but it's going to be damage coming through. A double kill for Egro Bender. Now it's going to be Corsic finishing off Acid, and
it's
it's an
over.
ace coming through for the side of BBC. They're onto the inhib tower. They should have plenty of time here. It's about 20 seconds before the first member going to respawn. They've got the wave. They've got the Baron buff. This should be all for game number 1. BBC going to take down the Nexus Towers and make it a 1-0 lead for themselves in this series.
Yeah, there we go. The GGs are out. Acid has disconnected from the game, and BBC showed dominance in the first game, and that was just all off. Well, it was the lead in the bot lane that really started working out for them, despite them getting pushed up and the early game going really in favor of Acid. They were able to fight back. They were able to get leads back for themselves. There wasn't too big of a loss there in the top lane, with Seth just basically being a brute, being a self-sustaining laner. Didn't need too much attention, and well, Kai was able to just focus on the lanes, focus on getting his bot lane ahead, and it worked out. And the 5v5 just went on to BBC's favor every single time, and there wasn't anything that CB could CB Rush could do about it, just compositional wise, right? Because you can't get the execute onto anyone. You can't really find a pick, and in a 5v5 team fight, it just comp diff.
Yeah, it's hard to force the enemy team to spread out when you don't have leads in any lane. And I think that there was a chance there for CB Rush. They held it to a close lead for most of the game there. And I thought that Acid might have a chance to start getting some resets, but he never really did. It ended up being a situation where BBC held the line just about every time. They were able to set themselves up in fights to be able to protect their carries, and when they were able to protect the carries, that just meant that there was nothing that CB Rush could do to get in and win the fight.
Yep, pretty much. Now the big question just is, Tiger, what does CB Rush do now? This was their bread and butter plan that they've been doing pretty much every single time I cast them. They do this type of strategy. Do they have something deeper in their pockets? Is the biggest question I have right at the moment, because there has to be some adjustment. They can't just go into game two and run it back. Otherwise, I think, well, BBC, they just know how to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that what I'd like to see is a more defensive sort of bot lane. I think that having an aggressive top side of the map is good, and they needed to be able to continue to play around that, because the bot side was just leaking whenever they went towards the top side. There was a solo kill that we saw with the big blade caller that came through from Corsic in the bot lane, and then at some point they just left the bot lane alone and let Corsic continue to farm and take that tower in the bot side. So if they're able to play something where they can stay in lane on the bot side, but not have to worry about expending more resources to allow that, then that would be a good situation. So a pick like an Ezreal or something, where you can have that level of safety, I think is what you want to do.
I mean, we'll see, but I think we should go to a break first, Tiger, if there's going to be any adjustments made.
All right, we'll be back shortly with game number 2 of CB Rush versus BBC. Back, everyone. It's time for game number 2. We should be getting into draft shortly, but Miles, the game number 1 was pretty exciting. What differences are you expecting here in the draft for game number 2?
Well, I'm expecting possibly a different strategy from CB Rush. They've been every time I see them, they run the same strat as I said before during the post game discussion. So we'll see what else they have in the tank. Otherwise, it may be big black clocks. I said it right. Okay, not gonna catch me out today, but we'll see if BBC will be able to. If not, BBC might be able to just bring this to a 2-0 win. But we'll see. We'll see if they can do it. This time, CB Rush do have the counter pick available to them, so we'll see what they prioritize.
Yeah, I wonder if you can pick the Zyra as easily on blue side. I think it's nice to have those back-to-back picks. But we could see a situation where BBC is going to first pick one of the two. So we'll have to see which of the two that they want to prioritize in case CB Rush wants to take away the other half of the duo.
Yep. We'll see. And well, I mean, BBC, they can just run back whatever they drafted, right? Which was basically strong lanes that are able to get ahead. Corsic, I don't think you're supposed to get ahead in that matchup in the bot lane. I think that was kind of a fluke from Corsic there. Maybe he is just that good to be able to get that kind of lead. Then again, the early game he was able to get into the lane first, but and able to punish Evil Zera, but I definitely think you shouldn't be able to get a lead with Zyra Khan against Tristana Pantheon. So maybe Evil Zera and Andrel need to work on that lane a bit more.
Yeah,
And one sec. To our producer. Okay, I got it. Thank you for the link. By the way, our producer Wookie Monster doing an excellent job so far. So shout out to him.
indeed. And I think that one thing that we might see is that actually part of the comp from last game getting banned out. I don't know if the Syndra is going to be the ban
That's
target,
a good
maybe
point.
the
Yeah.
Aya. I don't know if you keep all of the same bans on the side of CB Rush. Last game they started with the bans of Mordekaiser, Trundle, and Nautilus. You could consider trying to first pick one of those if they get through, and potentially just leaving another one open. I think they will want to switch up the bans a little bit potentially, or take away some of the strong picks in the early part of the game.
Yep. I mean, we'll see. The adjustment should be made. I mean, it's on CB Rush to be the one to adjust, right? BBC, they can just run back the whole strat if they really want to. And we are getting ready for draft. Sorry for the delay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be soon, and the bands will be coming in. Just waiting for both teams. We had to remake the pro draft lobby. Sorry, guys, but should be ready soon. It is. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry, I was looking at my phone. I was looking at the wrong thing. There we go. All right, so the first man coming in again, Acid being banned out, not being allowed to use his Kha'Zix, which he has been proven super effective on. And CB Rush looks like they're gonna get rid of the Rakan, so there's the adjustment already, Tiger.
Yeah, and interesting that the Rakan is what's being singled out. I think Rakan is amongst the strongest of engage supports, and also is very slippery, so I can see why they would want to take away the Rakan. But I also think that it was the Xayah that gave them the most problems last game, because Corsic just didn't die throughout the entire course of the game. So that ended up being a problem. But I think that without the Rakan there, it's going to be a little bit tougher
Nah,
to
man,
justify
Tiger. It
picking.
something about bot lane, man. It's always support dip, so ban out those supports.
All right, fair enough. I mean, we'll see if BBC actually want to go back to the Xayah without the Rakan. It could be a situation where they just wanted to pick the two as a combination. That's a sort of thing that you can look for on the red
Yeah.
side. And now that they're on the blue side, they look for something, a different area where they're getting the first pick. And without the Rakan, I think that it's unlikely that CV Rush is going to take away the Xayah. So I would expect either a different ADC to be picked up here as the first pick for BBC, or to send that first pick somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to play something safe, right, they can still go for the Ezreal, which you can just pick by its lonesome, right? Can be basically safe by himself and can do tons of damage if you're able to play him correctly throughout the team fights. Victor, being taken out as well. So we'll see what BBC decide to operate with. It's gonna be the Trundle. Now this could be going to support, it could be going to top lane, it could be going to jungle. I think it's gonna go to jungle because Trundle jungle is extremely strong right now. That pillar is just such one of the most well designed abilities in League, I'd have to say. Honestly.
Yeah. Just being able to put up that terrain is pretty nice. Now, Kainwin did play the Trundle last week and went 6-3-15 in a win for BBC.
Yeah.
So I think that that's most likely where we will see the Trundle, as you're saying. Although I think that Trundle first pick speaks to where Trundle is currently in the meta. Maybe
He's
a
really
little
strong.
bit overtuned based on the fact that usually Trundle's just a counter pick that you see when the other team has 2 or 3 big tanky picks, like I said, Juani or an Ornn or something like that. But right now, Trundle's strong enough to be first pick, so I think that that makes a lot of sense, and maybe we'll see Kainwin taking this game over.
Yeah, but the Xin Zhao is also locked in for the side of CB Rush now. Acid on that. Xin Zhao is a very scary prospect because Xin Zhao is also one of the most broken junglers in the game currently. He's strong in the early game, he's strong in the mid game, and even in the late game, he's pretty darn good, especially with the way he can push people off and peel for his team. In a 1v1 situation, Xin Zhao can just easily be able to take it, and it will be hard even for Trundle, who usually excels at 1v1 duels, to be able to take him down as easily since he can just shove him off. But we'll see. It looks like while the engage is still there, the team, the dive team is still basically there. Even though you don't have the Recon, well, guess what? There's a Leona who does basically the same thing, and but is less slippery, but is a lot more tanky as well. So pretty much the same game plan for BBC across the board, and we'll see the adjustments CB Rush are making. They do have the last pick for the second base of Pan. What will they go with is the big question. They could
Yeah.
decide to just counterpick for their support or go for a priority mid laner since they can counterpick right now. Oh,
Yeah.
it will be the Lysandra. Okay. Okay, I can see that. I can see it working out.
Yeah, Lissandra's a little bit different style than Talia. I think that keeping that theme of having some consistent hard CC with the Glacial Prison, or not Glacial, Frozen Tomb, something like that. Lissandra's
Yeah, there's
ultimate
like
able to hard
there's the
CC.
Sejuani's the glacial prism, right? Wait.
Right, that's correct. I have messed up the ultimates between the two sisters. You know, it's a thing that happens, but
They all
it's
stun
not
people.
like-
Ash also stuns people. That's basically the theme between them.
Yeah, it's too cold and the enemy team can't move. But whatever the case, Lissandra is going to be making sure that the enemy team isn't moving, and I think that that's the part that's best to keep out of the things that Talia does. They will be limited in the capacity to roam for CB Rush this time around, but they weren't able to actually convert on a lot of the roaming that was being done last game by Frosty 5. So I think that with the Lissandra being the pick this time around, could be better for team fights, or maybe they'll be able to put themselves in better position to get picks on the side of CB Rush this time around, and then Lissandra will be able to convert on that.
The thing about the Lysandra, right, she's a very neutralizing pick. She won't be getting solo kills in the mid lane, but you should be able to keep Eagle Bender at bay at least. Lysandra is the kind of pick you choose to make sure that the enemy laner just does not get out of control like Eagle Bender did. So I'd say it's a decent pick all around, and blind picking set there in the top lane should be good. It could also be a support set, but that's pretty unlikely. So I'm assuming this set will be going blind pick there the top lane to whatever BBC decide to go on to him, and the counter pick will be going on to the support. Actually, I think it probably will be and it'll be Angel who will be getting the counter pick to see what the best best support matchup will be for him down there in that bot lane. We'll see what the ADC is as well for the side of BBC. That should dictate what happens. It will be Kaisa. Okay, so that dive composition still for BBC.
I think it's important to mention that Angel did play the set support before, so I would not be surprised if CB Rush has the idea of putting the set in the support position.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I think Aatrox is a solid laner in top lane no matter what the matchup is, so BBC should be pretty happy with putting Kenrick on the Aatrox into any matchup. It will be against the Kled here, it looks like.
Oh, it is at
Should be
support.
that should be a pretty exciting matchup in the top side between Kenrick and Rutledge here. We'll see how good Rutledge's Kled is, but should be a lot of fighting occurring between those two.
I think I would definitely favor Kled when it comes to the matchup there in the top lane because of the amount of sustain he gets and the remount. That makes him kind of an unpredictable champion to duel against. So Aatrox definitely Kendrick has to have his wits about him if he goes for those 1v1s because Kled's health is just very deceptive, especially when he's unmounted. He can easily mount again, come back for another fight, and well, you end up being dead because you didn't take that into your calculation. So we'll see if Kendrick is able to win out on that 1v1. Otherwise, if Aatrox does not snowball, he's gonna end up being just basically a drain tank for this team. He has to be the front line.
Yeah, and I think that there's an ample amount of front line running around on the side of BBC with the Leona and Trundle as well. But I do think that with Aatrox, you're trying to get into a position where Aatrox can carry a team fight, and as opposed to just trying to be part of the front line. So we'll see if Kenrick's able to have success on the pick. On the other side, I did want to mention that Acid going on the Xin Zhao is a pick that I like because Xin Zhao can do some of the frontlining in addition to being able to carry the game. So depending on the situation and who ends up getting the kills, and if Acid is ganking a lot or just trying to counter jungle more consistently, we could see multiple sort of looks from this comp from CB Rush, and that's something that I appreciate as a draft adaptation.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to point out, look at the side of BBC Tiger. They have so much burst on their side. They have a Syndra, they have an Aatrox, they have a Kai'Sa. All of them are dependent on just burst damage, right? Not sustained DPS. Meanwhile, on the side of CB Rush, they have ways to basically sustain through that. Lissandra has her Frozen Tomb to be able to survive. Seth, of course, has his Haymaker to order to get his shield health bar, and Kled has his remount ability. Tristana and Xin Zhao can immediately entire enemy teams away using their ultimates, a butter shot. I forgot what the name of the Xin Zhao ultimate is, which is a big. Do you remember
It's
it, Tiger?
Crescent Guard. It's Crescent
Yeah,
Guard.
Crescent. Yeah, there we go, Crescent Guard. So they can basically decide if the engage happens, they can just disengage, survive the initial burst, and then beat the enemy team down with the sustained DPS that they have on their side.
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. I think that Trundle right now does pretty decent DPS, and Kai'Sa does a lot of burst, to be fair. But I think that with the right build, Corsic could also be doing a significant amount of damage over time. If you get like Kraken Slayer, if you just build like the on hit build, you should be pretty good on doing damage to people that are trying to sustain through the initial burst of the fight as well. So I think the build will be important to keep an eye on for Corsic. And we'll see if Kynwin can get a lead. I think that if that was the case, then it would be a lot more difficult to say that the side of CB Rush can sustain through the early part of the fight. But I do agree with your point that especially with Set, Xin Zhao, and Lissandra, that it's going to be difficult to just burst them to death at the beginning of a fight.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Kai'Sa can do sustained DPS, but if you're Kai'Sa, you don't want to be at that stage, right? Because your range is so short. If you're at the point where you're trying to be a sustained DPS as a Kai'Sa, you can get it easily burst down by the longer range of the Lissandra, the Xin Zhao, or you're not going to be fighting Xin Zhao close range. You're not going to be fighting Tristana at long range. You have to be in that perfect spot at all times. So it's up to Corsic to be able to be in that sweet spot, if he's able to get the burst down or if he's going to go for the sustained DPS, which is going to be super tricky for him. So I'd like to see how well he'll be able to play this game, if he's going to be able to play it the same as last time. Because, well, last time he had the benefit of having an ult that could basically act as a safeguard for him. Now he doesn't. He has to go in.
Yep, that is true. And we'll see who's going to be able to navigate the team fights more effectively. Once we get to the other side of this break, we'll have game number 2 of CB Rush versus BBC. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for game number 2. We've got CBR this time going to be on the red side, BBC on the blue side with the 1-0 lead. We'll see if they can take the series in 2 games or if it's going to go to game number 3.
I just realized I think I have a spectator bug where I don't, or I just see a silhouette of the enemy champion, of the red side champions. Uh, are you affected by that too, Tiger?
I am not affected by that.
Okay, but because I can, well, since I'm a color caster, all I need is the mini map anyway. Doesn't matter if I see the enemy champions or not. I'll leave
It
that one
looks
to you.
like
But right now,
Acid may be trying to find Ego Bender here. We'll see if he can find enough damage for a kill. Looks like a 3v3 starting to break out here really quickly. Angel trying to find a face breaker, but not going to get any stuns off of it. And it looks like just going to be a recall forced. No summoners blown anywhere. So it's just going to be early trades, but no kills.
yeah, I think the only problem is I don't see the health bars as well. I have to look at the I have to look at the side of the screen to see what the health bars are at right now. And well, I mean some decent trades going out. No summoners exchanged, no resources exchanged either. What
Yeah,
is
good.
going on? I don't even see the items on. What is happening?
That sounds like a very buggy bug. But whatever the case, we got a good
I just
deep
try my
war
best.
coming through for BBC. They'll be able to track Acid here in the early game. So that'll be a good situation for them. So we'll see if any ganks come through early. It looks like Acid may be just going red to blue. We'll see if a gank bot after that potentially.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to. It's a good place to get, especially since well, there's not really any way for Korosik to get out of a gank unless he expends his flash, along with thereby also. So they decided to go for an aggressive play. If they can manage to get to level 2 first, that would be extremely huge for them. Okay, they don't.
Yeah, Zenith Blade missing there. Would have been big if it landed. Evils are not going to have a lot of escape tools until the rocket jump becomes available. Eco Bender once again playing pretty aggressively in the lane here.
Yeah, that's something you should keep in mind. It's always the level 2 power spike in the bot lane could end up being huge, especially for a champion like Leona. Can immediately just go for an all-in snap of fingers, and we'll see what's happening here. Are more concentrated here towards the bot side, because I think that's where the action will go. The two junglers are going down there as well, but instead, well, Acid's just gonna go for a gank in the mid lane. See what's up.
Yeah, Ego Bender going to be forced to flash here. Flash follow from both, and it's going to be a root coming through. First blood going over to Acid.
Well played, really well played. That's how you do the level 3 Xin Shao gank. Early game, that's exactly what you want to see out of the pick, right? You don't want to be just power farming on the Xin Shao pick. You want to use the early game power to your biggest advantage. Although Xin Shao definitely can be strong in the late game right now due to he's a bit overtuned right now, let's be honest. You definitely want to use his biggest strength, which is the early game, to your advantage.
Yeah, and especially when you're comparing to a Trundle, where the Trundle also wants to get ahead early and start carrying the team right now.
They're invading. Looks like
Yeah,
that's
looks
a
like a
double
lot of
scuttle.
in the double scuttle. So the roam down from Rutledge to make sure. Good push coming through in the top side. So good wave management for CBR to make sure that they're getting that area for the double scuttle. And it looks like a lot of the early camps going over to Acid once again.
Okay, wait.
Ooh.
Eagle Bender is in a lot of trouble again.
Win is here, though. We'll see if he can find a good pillar. Frosty dropping pretty low, going to go down. Ego Bender trying to stay alive. It's going to be tagged by Acid. It's a trade of kills onto the mid laners, but Win now looking to find a follow-up kill on Acid. Evil Zara is roamed up, coming up with a heal, going to try to finish off the kill. Now Adriel is going to be in trouble. Win turns it on the 1v2, trying to take down Evil Zara as well with the chop. Will be able to do so. Double kill going over to Win in the 1v2.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think Andrew was taken down as well there in the bot lane, I think, because I just saw a bunch of damage in the silhouette going down. Apparently, even the champions don't auto attack the silhouette. So I just saw, I just saw the Trundle just basically standing still, while losing health against the Tristana. So good stuff from Kanyugan, able to come out ahead basically in that matchup. He's 3-0 now. Basically, that early game that CB Rush played out got completely mitigated.
Yeah, it got flipped on its head. Even I'd say 4-2 now is the kill score. Egro Bender is still in a pretty rough spot, but has started farming up pretty effectively as compared to Frosty. So it should be in a decent spot when compared to the enemy mid laner. Looks like Acid has started up the Drake. We'll see if it's going to be contested here. Kaidwin roaming down. We'll see if any fight breaking out here. Looks like a backing off is the call from BBC. So the first Drake of the game going to go over to CBR this time around.
Yeah, they were because they died first. They were at least first onto the field, while Trundle had to back away immediately. So they easy first dragon for them, and they're at least able to get that objective for themselves. And in the top lane, though, it is going to be at least Rutledge able to get that big advantage for himself there on the pled. We'll see in the mid game
Ego
what he's able to
Bender.
do.
Wow, that combo ended up taking out 2/3 of Frosty's health almost. Egro Bender once again starting to play pretty aggressively and get early advantages on the Syndra just by farming up effect.
It's not just that. Lissandra doesn't really have the range to be able to contest Syndra, which is the thing. You usually pick Lissandra if you want to neutralize the lane matchup if they're an assassin. You know, if they're like an Akali
Mhm.
or a Yasuo, something like that, where you can just basically make sure the enemy team doesn't get stable, but there's a charge.
Ego Bender could be in trouble here. Still doesn't have flash yet. Going to be
Oh,
feet up and bursted down. Frosty going to find the kill. Angel could be in trouble here. The Haymaker
oh,
going to be flashed by Corsic. Now thereby also wants to find the chase. Evils are going to rocket jump out. They could be in trouble being dove though. Not going to land the Void Seekers. Thereby also setting up for the dive. Evils are going to be in trouble. Going to go down. Corsic picking up the kill. Angel trying to find the face breaker
going
but
again?
not able to get in
Okay.
range. Could be a re-dive coming through. Corsic trying
Oh
to
wait,
start up
teleport.
the dive. Teleport coming in behind, and it looks like it's both teleports coming through. Rutledge and Frosty are both here, finding the roots. Now it's going to be the re-engage trying to come through, trying to finish off Angel, and
What?
Corsic will be able to do so, thereby also going to be in trouble. It's going to be 2 kills going over, but the support falls to overall a 2 for 2 in the bot lane.
Should not have been able to get that other kill for themselves, but in the end up they do. So Corsic, I still think he comes out ahead in this because look at all the minions that Chisana had to lose as well as experience. Evil Zara's level 4 compared to Corsic's level 6. This bot lane is absolutely massive for the side of BBC right now. They continue to get ahead again and again. And if you're the Kaisa, that's extremely good because if you're the Kaisa, you can just dive in without any worry. You're basically in the best spot possible. Corsic is going to take the lead and run with it.
Yeah, and Acid was also forced to catch the top wave with 4 camps still up, so that's slowing down his clear and stopping him from catching up right now to Kaidwin with the. They're pretty even on the camps, so the experience should be pretty similar. But 3-0 for Kaidwin means that the gold advantage is still going to be significant there. Angel once again is on the roam looking for something in the top lane.
Oh,
We'll see if Evil Zara could be in trouble here in the bot side as a result, though.
that's has to be careful about taking all those isolated Q damage, and well, of course, it's just gonna get farther and farther ahead in this lane matchup. I'm not sure what the items are since uh they're not exactly correct, and even the score is giving me like a 12 to 10 for some reason.
That's
Uh,
right.
yeah, it's
I can
absolutely
give you
not
the
right.
item. I can give you the items between the bot laners. It's both sides have Noon Quiver. Uh, Corsic has a pickaxe, a D blade, and boots as well. And Evil Zara has a long sword and a potion as well.
Well, hopefully, okay, that's good. So Corsic should be the one ahead. All right, I'm just gonna go to the stream instead because I don't think this is.
That is an unfortunate situation. Kindwin now looking for Acid. Corsic going to go in. It's the CC chain. The Crescent Guard going to keep Acid alive. Flashing over the wall. Will be able to survive for the moment. Frosty roam down. Going to be hit with a Scout of the Week into the Force of Will. Goes into the Frozen Tomb. Now Kindwin waiting for the ability to finish off Frosty. Frosty going to flash away though. And Angel picks up the first kill of the fight. Acid will drop as well. But it's a 2-for-1 in favor of CBR so far. The pickup thereby also as well. Frosty over the wall, just poking Kindwin down, and the rest of the team's there. The shutdown goes over to Angel, and it's the fight cleaned up by CB Rush.
All right, wait one sec. You can analyze that part in a bit. All right, I'm looking at it. And well, the status is it looks like CB Rush came out ahead on that one. I'm assuming that the gold lead's still pretty much
Yes.
even between the two teams.
Yes, they were able to come out with, I believe, 4 kills to 2. And whatever the case, they were able to change lead from in favor of BBC to in favor of CBR. The Drake is about to spawn here, so we'll see if another fight going to break out around
Who got
that. Acid
who
there
got
on the beginning.
who got the kill onto the Trundle?
That is a good question. I didn't catch. I think that it was Angel.
It was Angel. Okay, that's kind of sad. But well, at least he's able to get some items for the shutdown. And is he building for support? Angel just went for an offensive bruiser item.
Yeah. I'm not sure what he's going to build that into. We'll see what it's going to be. It could be. I have to check what that builds into. Does it build into a Frozen Heart? Maybe it's
No, it
Iceborne.
does not. It does not. It is not built into Iceborne or Frozen Heart. I think it's gonna go for a bruiser build on a support budget, which will be very interesting to see if he can pull it off. Oh
Oh,
wait,
Evil
I'm gonna
Star is
cut.
getting dove, tries to flash away. Does have rocket jump available. The heal comes through from Corsic. Corsic could be in trouble to the tower though, and it's
Oh,
going to be a trade of kills between the ADCs.
that was a bit of a mistake on mechanics part for the side of Corsic because he started auto attacking the tower instead of the Tristana.
Ooh, Egro Bender clears the wave in time critically to avoid being dove.
Guys, to everyone out there, make sure to bind the click champions only option. It will really help if you go for a dive like that and allow you to not hit the tower and hit your target instead. I think Corsic could have lived if he was hitting Tristana. If he was hitting Tristana,
Potentially.
so yeah, a bit of a mistake there, but still 1 for 1, so not too bad. But
Yeah.
still giving Tristana away back into the matchup is definitely not what you wanted to, and flash immediately by Kendrick.
Yeah, good flash from Kenrick there to keep himself alive. Uh, Looks like the Rift Herald's not going to be leashed out, so Kainwin trying to pick this one up. Kenrick looking for a
They're going
re-engage
in.
onto Acid. Could have the damage. Crescent Guard channeled up now.
Oh,
Angel going for the Haymaker, trying to stay alive, but Corsic is going to use the Killer Instinct to go in, finding the shutdown. And Corsic picking that up means that the Rift Herald will also go to BBC. Back and forth this game. Acid looking to go over the wall. Going to be a
oh,
red buff, but thereby also looking for the solar flare. Going to be a smite for health. Acid trying to dive in onto Corsic, trying to flash, but Corsic going to turn around on him. That's 2 kills for Corsic. Now looking to get out alive, but going to be
oh,
shot down by Rutledge. Rutledge trying to channel up the Scarl, but it's not going to be in time. And it's a double kill
oh.
going on the back end over to Egro Bender, showing up in just in the nick of time. And that means that BBC is going to take the fight. We'll see if they're dropping the Rift Herald top lane as well, but Evil Zara able to take the first turret in the bot side.
Yeah, they should be able to answer back with the tower. But that was really huge for the side of BBC, able to get all those kills onto the Syndra, who's steadily getting stronger and stronger. And we saw what Eagle Bender can do on the pick in the last game. If he's able to do that again, it's going to be extremely hard to be able to deal with him. Corsic just going in again and again. Although he doesn't have as big of a lead as probably he would have liked against something like a Tristana, the fact that you have a lead as a Kaisa is good enough. That means you can burst people down.
Yeah, and with that Rift Herald in the top side, it was able to get off a second charge, so that's a pretty good value. Rift Herald able to get plates and 2 charges. That's about as much as you can ask for in a Rift Herald. But we'll see the gold lead about 1,500 right now in favor of BBC. So we'll see if they can continue to push that lead. Drakes are even. Next Drake spawning in just over a minute and a half, and we'll see what comes of the next fight.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, the side of BBC, this is their strongest point right now. If they can force fights with how strong the Syndra Eagle Bender is on this Syndra, with how strong Parsec is on this Kaisa, if they're able to force those 5v5s, they're able to force these skirmishes. I think they're gonna end up winning out. Sana just doesn't have the damage right now. I feel. The thing they have to watch out for is the Kled. Of course, Rutledge is pretty strong on this pick right now, and Kenrick is basically trying to just hold on as his Aatrox.
Yeah, and we'll see. Looks like the 4-man group starting to be the call here for CBR as they set up for this Drake, spawning under a minute now. It looks like both sides
Oh,
starting to commit. Good rocket jump buffer there from Evil Zara to get out of the scatter the week. Uh, the CC chain pretty lethal from the side of BBC here. If you can just land that first stun from any part, it's going to be multiple stuns on top of it, and that will allow the killer instinct to be set up as well.
yeah, but right now, the side of BBC, they are going to be taking control of the river. They have the vision up there. They took out the blast gun as well, so it's going to be very hard for the side of CB Rush to penetrate this. They're going in.
They're looking for the 3v2 and
Oh
Angel
no,
going
Eagle Bender.
Facebreaker onto Egro Bender. Egro Bender potentially being dove. The Crescent Guard channeled up by Acid, but Kenrick is going ham on Angel. The dive comes through and Acid's able to take out Egro Bender, but will pay his life for it. And Angel falls as well. It's a 4v3 on the map, and Kenrick is starting to do some damage into the backline. Kindwin taking one of the kills as well. Rutledge is going to be the next to fall. It's a double for Kindwin. Evil Czar is going to be finished. It's an ace, 5 for 2, as Corsic will fall to the tower. But that means that the advantage falling in the hands once again of BBC as they go towards the Drake.
EBC are just winning out the team fights again and again. They're doing a good job isolating the targets, and while the side, well, Acid he just went into deep on that one, trying to go for the kill onto the Syndra. He does get the kill, but he ends up dying in the end, unable to try and fight or defend his teammates. On the other side of the pick, Corsic just able to run wild against the enemy team. No one can really kill him. He is getting a bit overzealous when it comes to tower dive, but it doesn't really matter when his teammates can just pretty much clean up, especially Kai Nguyen on this Trundle pick. He's doing wonders on it.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to mention right now Ego Bender is 2-5-3, and that's what they're diving for. I agree that Ego Bender is doing a ton of work with all the damage that's coming out from this Syndra build, but at the same time, this threat isn't coming from being super fed by kills. This is a threat that comes no matter what with Ego Bender on this Syndra. So I think that if somehow CB Rush gets this to a game number 3, maybe Syndra will need to be on the ban table.
I mean, we'll see if that's what they need to adjust over. But so far in this game, I think they're just unable to pull out or execute the plan that they want to do. I think they just want to go for a pick and try to go for the dragon. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and everyone ended up giving their lives. And now the lead, it's a bit blurry for me. I'm not sure what the gold lead is for the side of BBC. Could you tell me, Tiger?
It's about 3,500. Angel may
Okay.
be a bit
Oh
too
no.
far forward here. Rutledge going to try to support here for the moment, but it's Scatter the Weak going to stun him up. It's breaking into a 5v4 in favor of CBR. We'll see if they can take out the health bars. Frosty goes down first. It's a 2-for-1 going in favor of BBC. 3v3 remaining on the map. Now Corsic going to try to show up and turn the numbers of the fight. A double kill going over to Kenrick as the killer instinct comes through as well. The Void Seekers land onto Acid. Evils are now being focused down by Kenrick. Sad B from Evil Zara as he knows his fate may be sealed here. Corsic going to finish off the 4th kill of the fight.
Oh, it's
And a
flashing.
flash forward from Kindwin. Going to be able to find the ace as the double
You
kill
just
comes through
go
for
Baron
Corsic. It's a
right on
4v1 on the
time.
map. Baron time, as you say, and it's once again BBC in position to win this game.
Wow, BBC playing extremely well around their strong points. And the side of CB Rush, that was a very desperate and ambitious play coming from them. Is this the Baron or is this the Riffra? I think it's just the Riffra.
It's a
Wait,
herald.
it's
It's
not even
19
20.
minutes.
Okay, it's not yet there. Sorry guys, I can't see the time. It's very blurry on my screen right now. But there we go. They're able to at least get the Riffra for themselves. That's a very big team fight win. Now on the side of CB Rush, they kind of decided to force a fight that they didn't really need to, even though they didn't have the power to contest against the side of BBC right now. And as a result, BBC, they're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
I can see the idea behind trying to go for an invade like that
It's kind of a
and pick
desperate
up
play
a
though.
fight. But it just ended up being the case that there were too many people nearby,
Yeah.
and they weren't even able to win a 5v4. Like, Corsic wasn't in that fight until very late. So not being able to win that as a 5v4 is a very concerning sign if you're a fan of CB Rush. And right now they're going to have to find situations where they can win the fights, because if you can't win a 5v4, then you're going to have to break it down into even stronger number advantages for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, BBC, they're continuing exactly where they left off, even without Acid in their lineup. They're facing him this time, and they're punishing him for being a hashtag traitor, you could say.
Yeah, we
I
we
guess.
had we had a little bit of scuttlebutt going on in the pregame client. We
Yeah,
had
there's the banter, you know.
I yeah, I think that it was Kenrick. It was either Kenrick or Egro Bender who said that you can't come back too late. But thereby also starting off the fight with the solar flare. Frosty going to go into the frozen tomb, trying to stay alive for a moment longer. Rutledge going to lose his skull. Kenrick going on a rampage as the frozen tomb expires for Frosty. Thereby also could be dropping pretty low here. The Scarl has returned for Rutledge. Acid picks up the first kill on thereby also. And now it's going to be Kind Wind being focused down by Evil Zara, but able to pick up a kill. And here comes Corsic with the killer instinct going into the back line, and there is all the kills going through at once. The ace comes through. 5v1 is the kill score on that fight, and Kind win straight onto the top tower.
Yeah, what a victory by BBC. They decided to go for that fight on the side of ZB Rush. They decided to go for the fight while Corsic wasn't there, and in the end, Corsic just ended up playing janitor as the Kaisa. All he had to do just press R, go and press Q, and the job was done for him. And well, they just can't burst down this Trundle. Along with this Aatrox, they're just able to survive so much.
Yeah, and with that, picking up the Baron means that the siege potential just increases for the side of BBC. They've
Guns are
got a
too.
10,000 gold lead. They're going over to the Drake first, and then they should have a chance to push down the mid lane, thereby also looking to catch out Acid potentially. Doesn't have quite the follow up to go for the kill just yet, but it looks like that will buy enough space to take down this Mountain Dragon uncontested, and the resets are going to come through for the side of BBC.
Yeah, that's gonna be soul point for the side. I should stop saying for the side. It's starting to become a crush word, but that's soul point for BBC. They're gonna be able to run it back again and again. They're getting tankier and tankier. It's gonna be harder to burst them down, even if they try to go for this desperate play CB Rush. So it's just failing. The snowball is continuing, and I thought it would be, I thought it would be the opposite, right? My analysis was that it would be CB Rush who would have to be the one to be surviving the burst. But at this point in the game, at this point of the game, there's just too much armor, there's too much magic resist on BBC's champions that you basically can't fight them anymore in straight up 5v5. You kind of have to hope for a pick because the game is in BBC's control. It's their game to basically throw right now, and the clean 2-0 is becoming more and more likely with every minute that passes.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at any champ on the side of BBC right now and where they're at. I mean, Kenrick 5-0-7, and here's the
Oh,
engage.
they're going in.
Corsic going into the back line with the killer instinct, going to try to finish off the kills. Shutdown goes over to
Right?
Rutledge, though. It's 1-for-1. Now trying to turn the fight is CB Rush, but it's going to be another kill going over to Kenrick, another kill going over to Kai, and that means that it's a 4v2 on the map. And with those two members, CB Rush must survive a bit longer. The inhib going down, the three-man push is going to continue, and the junglers are duking it out in the jungle as God intended, and it's going to be the dive coming through. Rutledge has nowhere to go, trying to get back to the fountain, will be able to get there in time. Scarl is back as well, but Kindwind and Acid have spilled out into the mid lane, and Acid surviving just a bit longer. Will he be able to trade kills back? A good scatter of the week going to come through
Right?
from Equal Fender. Will keep them alive for the moment as it takes down Acid, but now it's going to be the disengage coming through as the health bars are low. So another trade going in favor of BBC.
Yeah, BBC, but CBR, they were able to stall out. The fact that Acid did not go down in that exchange the whole time meant Trundle had to keep him from going back to base. Meaning Trundle was not hitting the towers. I think if Trundle was there, the game was over. So CB Rush, they were able to buy themselves a bit more time. But well, it doesn't feel like there's gonna be enough time. They need to be able to get a pick right now and stall again until Evil Zera is able to activate on Shistana pick. Doesn't have the items, doesn't have the damage to be able to do anything right now. So I think it's just stalling the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Frosty may be caught out
Oh
here.
no.
Angel's in the area. Could be trouble for Corsic if he stays too far forward. He's going to be hit with the Frozen Tomb. Corsic could be in trouble here. Going to burn down. Angel picks up the kill. Now Acid looking for more, but going to be dropped pretty low. Kenrick goes legendary. The Solar Flare comes in. It's a double kill for Kenrick. Looking for the dive. Buster shot going to keep him away for the moment. Egro Bender going to pick up another kill onto Frosty, and this is just
Oh.
too much. CB Rush not going to have a chance to finish off this game because the ace comes through 5-for-1. You may have picked Corsic, but you missed the rest of the team, and it's going to be BBC marching into the base. They've got the minions. They don't have the Baron buff anymore, but they won't need it because the tower is all that stands between them and the Nexus. It's going to be BBC as they take the series 2-0 over CB Rush.
What a game. What a series by BBC. Able to win out on everything. There goes the tower dive right down. They should be able to end this as well. Trundle is there hitting the Nexus, and it is over for these two teams. And what a game played by BBC. They're just able to know their win conditions is the team fights, and they're able to win out again and again. On the part of CB Rush, though, I think they kind of mistake forcing these team fights, trying to go for desperate plays. Even though, well, there were times where they really didn't need to. They could afford to just wait, afford to stall things out because they had the time to scale up, but they weren't able to use it. They weren't able to use it effectively, and the fact that they just kept going in again and again meant the snowball just kept getting bigger and bigger for the side of BBC.
Yeah, and I think that for CB Rush, they showed some good signs there, but BBC really showed us why they are the defending champions, why they had such a dominant split last season. And we'll see if that continues throughout the entirety of this season. There's a lot of turnover with new teams, so there could be new
Yeah,
challengers popping up. But the early signs are indicating that BBC is in a very good position to repeat as an undefeated season potentially.
yeah. Besides, I think the narrative last time was that BBC were good because they had acid, right? Now they don't have acid; they just beat acid's team. So BBC trying to snap themselves, trying to make sure they can possibly build a hashtag era for themselves, quote unquote, as if they continue to keep up this level of performance. So we'll see how far they can go. It will be super interesting. Meanwhile, this is CB Rush we're talking about. They still have the potential to bounce back. I'm not gonna count this team out yet. We're still early into the season. Definitely expect CB Rush to pull things together, get stronger, and hopefully they'll be back. I think CB Rush are definitely a playoff contention team. And once we get to that stage of the game, we'll see how well they can be able to adapt to the competition.
Yeah, I think that when you drop to 1-1, you gotta remind yourself it's just one loss. You can definitely overcome it. You can even get from one loss to being the second seed pretty easily.
Le-
So I think that
Legend
long
Spartans, remember Legend Spartans, man,
Legends
from
Spark
bottom of the barrel.
they started 1-4 and then ended up getting to finals. So a lot of season ahead of us, and hopefully we'll be seeing more from CB Rush.
Yep, same. I always end up casting them, so I feel like we'll definitely be seeing them again.
All right. Any final thoughts for us here, Miles?
No, I think I'm good. I think that's all we got for today. Why don't you send us off, Tiger?
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been CB Rush versus BBC. BBC taking it 2-0 and advancing to 2-0. We got junior division of Runeterra Academy always happening on Sunday nights. So hopefully we'll see you back here next week for that. Monday's a senior
Tomorrow.
night, so hopefully you can come to that
Yeah,
as well.
I'll be
But
casting too. So
yeah,
go,
I've
go
been
and watch.
Tiger. I've been here with Miles David. We got Wookie Monster on the producing. And thank you for joining us and have a good night.